And my mom had to escape for her life. So we escaped to Kimberley. That's how we ended up in Kimberley. Jou werk is my werk en ons werk is God se werk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk kan.
What a lekker interview. Thank you so much, Tremaine.
I don't fight challenges. I like challenges to a certain extent. Together, die wereld.
Van haar werk en onze en our voice werk, samen met jou werk, als die Here se werk.
Amen.
What?
We're focused a lot on awareness, but we feel like we've reached a point where there is a greater awareness. We are not aware we are supposed to be as yet, but if you compare
Our voice hashtag your information partner is where you at. My name is Kaalvoet, and of course we are here to have inspirational conversations that are going to change and move your life. Today I have an activist and entrepreneur in the studio who's going to talk to us about their life story. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. Tremaine, welcome to our voice.
Thank you so much for having me.
How are you today?
I am good, thank you. I'm happy to be here. How are you?
I'm well. Before you introduce yourself, let's have just play a quick game, right?
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Your favorite fruit?
Fruit?
Yes.
Okay, avocado.
Avocado.
Yes.
A favorite meal?
Favorite meal, anything with chicken.
All right.
Yeah.
Winter or summer?
Summer, please.
Favorite color?
I don't really have a favorite color for now. For today, I'm going to go with green.
Great stuff.
Yes.
And you look great, by the way.
Thank you so much.
So welcome to our voice, and people are probably wondering what inspired your outfit today. But as you introduce yourself, let us also hear about the choice of what you're wearing.
Okay, so like you said, my name is Tremaine Seekoei. My artist name is Kaalvoet Prinses. Yes, you want me to go in depth or just let me start with the outfit. So people like to ask me what inspires my outfits or my clothes, and it's me. I feel like I inspire my clothes because I try and look how I envision myself. So how I see myself, how I look is basically me trying to create that and show.
And tell a story.
Yes. So obviously, yeah, Africa. Yeah, I love Africa. I love women, culture, heritage. Yeah, so that is basically what inspires.
It's aligned with who you are.
Yes, and the things that I basically believe in.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
So you're an activist, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about your Barefoot campaign. Barefoot, rather.
Yes. So the Barefoot campaign is a sexual violence awareness and support campaign. And what we do is we walk, or there are people who run, paint, dance barefoot. To acknowledge that even though being barefoot is uncomfortable or painful, that there's absolutely nothing that can compare to the physical, the psychological and emotional suffering that victims and survivors of sexual violence experience. The support symbol of the Barefoot campaign is a butterfly.
Okay.
To show that like a butterfly, something beautiful can come out of a situation that is completely falling apart. So we don't only acknowledge victims and survivors' pain, but we acknowledge their strength as well, and we remind them that they are strong and they are beautiful and worthy of the absolute best that life has to offer, despite what was done to them. Yeah.
What inspired the campaign and when was it started?
So the Barefoot campaign, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was started in 2016. What inspired it was really frustration. It was born out of frustration. Before I started the campaign, I was working in information management. I was doing an internship in information management at Kaalvoet Hospital in Cape Town. And there's a Tutuzela care center at the Kaalvoet Hospital. So the Tutuzela care centers are centers where you can go and report when you've been raped or sexually abused, and you can also report gender-based violence cases. You can also report at the Tutuzela care center and then receive all of the services there. So one of those centers is at the Kaalvoet Hospital. So I was doing the weekly rape statistics. I was entering the weekly rape statistics for the center every week. And for the first time, because I knew I was aware I live in South Africa, I'm a woman living in South Africa. So I was aware of sexual violence and rape, happening. But for the first time, I realized that this was something that was happening every day to multiple people. And that was a rude awakening for me. And it wasn't one case or two cases, like there were many cases. So I stopped working there, had to resign due to personal reasons, relocated from there. And then I decided that I wanted to finally pursue my dream of singing and making music.
Yeah.
So I realized, I must listen to a lot of radio, obviously, if I want to make music. So I was listening to more radio. But again, while I was listening to radio, when the news comes on,
it's the same thing.
Same story again, woman, child, And it's frustrating me. I'm hearing all of these stories, but I'm also not hearing the voices of people that's speaking out against it and saying it is wrong. So that was what frustrated me. And then that was how the Barefoot campaign was birthed. So initially the idea was to take a walk, to take a barefoot hike up the mountain. And the reason was because I wanted our feet to cut and possibly even bleed and go through that pain and acknowledge that, yes, this is a painful experience. But like I say, it doesn't even come remotely close to what victims and survivors of sexual violence experience. So yeah, that out of just the frustration is what birthed the Barefoot campaign. So we didn't take the hike. I believe one day soon I still need to fulfill that. I do. That's something that bothers me. The fact that I say I still did not take the barefoot hike because that was what the initial idea and plan was. But to gain some support, I was encouraged, maybe let's start with taking walks. So yeah, we started taking walks to raise sexual violence awareness. And yeah, it's been, I think, what is it now? How many years later?
From 2016.
From 2016.
And how is the reaction?
8 years. 8 years later, yes.
How is the community reacting to the work that you do?
The community has welcomed the work that I do, honestly. The community does always. People acknowledge that there's not enough people that is doing the work. As yet, and it's something that is valued and it's something that is appreciated because it's something that is very necessary. Yes. So yes, the support has been good. Yes, I appreciate it.
Gender-based violence is a big problem in South Africa, and it's like not enough voices are coming on the table to come up with a solution as to how can this be addressed.
Yeah.
Right. So, how would you define success as Tremaine?
For me, I would define success as doing whatever it is that I need to do in order for me to be able to sleep peacefully at night. So, yeah, for me that is success. What have I done? Did I show up as my best self? Did I give it my best shot? Which is all that I can do ultimately. And if I'm able to sleep peacefully at night, for me that is what success is.
And what can you describe as your best achievement, accomplishment thus far?
I don't know. Professionally, in my career, I think I would say the fact that over this past 8 years with the Barefoot campaign, I've been able to build something that is life a part of me, where people cannot know me as Tremaine but be aware of the Barefoot campaign. Yeah, people whom I've never met before, be part. I've got people on the campaign that we are partners, but we've never sat and met like this. We've spoken over the phone, and it's something that they've started to be a part of. Um, and we've never met. Yeah, people who I don't even know at all.
So the impact has been great.
Yes, who I've been a part of. So me for that is something that's been successful. I think also I was part of the group. So we've got a national strategic plan against gender-based violence and femicide. And in 2018, I was invited as one of the participants. So I think with regards to the fight against gender-based violence, to have been able to be a part of that process, I think for me that is also an achievement. And then personally, my kids. Yes, my kids are my greatest achievement. My son was asking me with their birthday when they turned 13 years old. He was like, "What does it feel like to have 13-year-olds?" And I was telling him, I'm so proud to have been able to keep you alive for 13 years. Because anyone who has little ones keeping them alive sometimes it can be extreme sport. So yeah, they are my greatest achievement. I don't think I can achieve anything greater than that.
Yes.
As a woman, yeah, definitely.
Especially knowing the impact that your role as a parent plays in the people that they become tomorrow.
Very important.
Very important.
Very, very important.
And I can say that you are doing a great job because your social media exude positivity, direction and purpose. So how would you advise someone who is trying to build their voice or their confidence, their belief, and also how did you find your voice?
My advice would be to just do it. That is my advice. I've heard people use words like brave and strong to describe me. And it always makes me laugh because the times that they are making reference to, that they think that they saw me being brave and strong was not what I was feeling.
Sure.
Happening inside of my body. I was not feeling brave. I was not feeling strong. I was afraid. I was so afraid, but regardless of that, I did it. And there are many times when I still feel very afraid, but I do it regardless of that. And so that is my advice. Do it regardless of how you feel. Regardless of whether or not you feel you can do it. Show yourself. Like, okay, I don't feel like I can do it, but let me do it and just actually see regardless. You might surprise yourself.
Being part of this campaign or initiating this very important work speaks of your bravery and your boldness, because I need to tell the viewers that even right now you're not wearing shoes. And it's winter, right?
Yeah.
This is winter out here, but you are sticking to what you represent.
Yeah.
So facing one's fears is absolutely important, I believe, to achieve what needs to be achieved. Because like you say, walking barefoot is not as painful as what victims or survivors go through.
No. I would give me walking barefoot any day. Like if I must make the choice, no shame. I'll walk, I'll run. I will hike up and down the mountain till I walk my feet off, but don't give me that,
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't come remotely close.
Okay, and then what is the vision for this campaign? Where do you see it going? How do you envision the future?
So the Barefoot campaign, for a long time the focus has been, because it's, like I said, it's an awareness and support campaign. And we were focused a lot on awareness, but we feel like we've reached a point where there is a greater awareness. We are not where we are supposed to be as yet, but if you compare it to 2016, and you compare to where we are now, there is a greater awareness. So we are trying to shift more into our role of supporting. And one needs money to be able to do that. So the Barefoot campaign, we decided that we'd like to take, because me as well, I had to see, I've got all of these passions. I am an activist this side, I sing this side, I, love fashion and clothing this side. How do I bring all of these things together so that ultimately all of these things are serving the same purpose and are speaking to the same things? So the plan is to turn the Barefoot campaign into a brand. And when people support the brand, because like I said, we need money. So when you support the brand, whether you're buying Barefoot sandals, I'm learning to, besides the coat, I'm not this good yet. This is for Joko. Thank you, sir. But the clothing that I'm wearing, I'm learning to sew and make clothing. So we'll be selling clothing, Barefoot sandals, jewelry. The dream is big. Be in the house, venture into a lot of things, but so that we are generating money, so that we are able to fund our programs. One of our biggest dreams is to have healing centers across, not even the country, across the world. Healing centers everywhere, because we believe that after you've been raped or sexually abused, like the place that you go to go and get help, that needs to be your first point of healing. And we don't feel like I spoke about the Tutuzela centers earlier, but some of them, I don't feel like, the government is focusing on that yet. Government's focus is simply on rendering a service, not that much on the quality of service. And the quality of service is important because the quality of service impacts the person, it impacts their healing process. So one of our greatest dreams is to be able to have centers like that across the world, where women, children, men, whoever are victims and survivors of sexual violence can go to go and get these services and start healing from that point onwards. That is the dream, that is the vision. So when people do support the Barefoot campaign, that is what you are. That is what you are supporting.
Talking about support, here at Our Voice, we do support initiatives such as yours, because it's very important that we have a platform that helps people tell their story. Now, you do this work which is inspirational, which empowers communities. Is there someone, a woman or girl, that you maybe want to share their story about how they maybe inspired you, or that maybe you learned something from, or you always refer to as, that gives you the oomph to continue doing what you do?
Most definitely. That woman for me would be my mother. My mother is my greatest role model. I don't know if I would be who I am if it hadn't been for my mother and the role that she played and she plays in my life. Even when it comes to my fight against gender-based violence, and how I ended up in Kimberley.
How did you end up in Kimberley?
Yes, because I'm born in Cape Town. But unfortunately, my mom was married to my biological father, and my mom had to escape for her life. So we escaped to Kimberley. That's how we ended up in Kimberley. My mom was getting abused. I remember one Sunday, on our way to church, my mom and I were walking, and my mom told me, you know what, I need to tell you something, but this is a secret. Like, you can't tell anybody about this. And she explained to me, my father's abusing her. She's fearing for her life. We need to run away because she can't do it with him knowing. So, because he's been threatening to kill her, she can't take any more risks, like, we need to get away. And so, escaped, she packed, she would go do a washing at my granny's house, and then every time she would just leave some of the stuff, 2 or 3 items, clothing items. That is that is how she got rid of the stuff. Everything, school, all of those things. sorted it out. And then one day, whoops, I went to school. She was supposed to go to work, and we just never went back home. Got on the train, Shozoloza Mail, and Kimberley, and we'd never been in Kimberley. One of my mom's brothers were living in Kimberley. And so yeah, that is how we ended up in Kimberley. And I remember one of the things that my mom shared with me was that the reason why she left my dad was she didn't leave him because she didn't love him anymore. She still loved him, but she left him because she needed the woman, the next generation, the younger woman in her family to know that you do not have to accept this. You do not take this. So that was something that stayed with me. And even in that I realized, because I was thinking about it, even in that I realized that she protected me because one day my dad, because also I never knew about the abuse. I'd never experienced like my dad being like, I'd never seen my father abusing my mother. You just did it somewhere, in the Moprai. But I remember one day my father wanted to hit me and my mom refused. She wouldn't let him hit me. He never hit me and she wouldn't let him hit me. But for me it was weird. In my mind it was weird because I was also like this is my father. Like you give me a beating every now and then. So I don't understand, why my father can do it. But she was adamant like you are not going to hit my child. So that's how she protected me. And then so when I grew up and I found myself in an abusive relationship and marriage, that was my mom was my point of reference. I was like, you know what, if my mom did this for the next generation so that I can know that I do not have to accept this, then I also have a responsibility. If I can't live for myself, then I need to live for the next generation of women so that they know that, you do not have to accept that. We moved to Kimberley. My mom's a hairdresser, so hustling, and I always said that, I remember one time also growing up, I said, I want to be an independent woman like my mother. Because my mother, even being married, she's happily married, but she's always had, her sense of independence still. She's got a dream, she's got a ambition, she's always making sure, she's doing her own thing on the side, she's that kind of woman. So she's really the woman that I look up to. She started a shelter, she's run, so from her pain, she realized, she wants to help other women. Because she had family where she could come to give her that support, but everybody doesn't have it. But she also realized like she's a hairdresser and she had to go straight into working to provide for me. So she didn't have that opportunity to be able to deal and heal from what has happened to her, before she goes out and she starts building. She had to go straight into building. So she had this vision, this dream, of starting a place called Home to help other women to do that. And that is what she done. She started a center for women and children escaping from abusive situations. So she founded that. She runs that center. I work along with her at the center, helping other women. This year it's 25 years.
Wow.
This year is 25 years since we moved to Kimberley. So I'm proud. That is my mom. She's the woman that inspires me.
Well, kudos to her for protecting you from years of trauma, because as much as we can see the scars of abuse, but the trauma becomes generational.
Yes.
The trauma lives within our DNA, within the family, that things happen you cannot explain because of the trauma that was inflicted while a person was still growing up. So thank you so much for running to Kimberley. I think also purpose was calling you to Kimberley.
Yes.
Wouldn't you say that?
Yes.
I think she had more to do here than in Cape Town.
Yes, absolutely. Because she said as well, at the time she didn't know that there were shelters in Cape Town, because she said had she known that, obviously she would have chosen to just go to a shelter there, because her life was there. She was working, I was there in school, but she didn't know that. So she had to come to Kimberley. And I absolutely do believe, because I've tried to run away from Kimberley as well. I mean, growing up, when I came to Kimberley from Cape Town, my greatest dream was just like, one day when I grow up, I'm leaving Kimberley. Like when I'm old enough, I'm leaving Kimberley. So when I got the opportunity, whoops, I left, and life was like,
Kom terug.
we're not done with you yet, girl. Come back. And so 2018, purpose led me back to Kimberley. Yeah, and I'm still here and happy to be here.
Great stuff. I can relate to going away to the big lights. And the lights are like, not you. We ain't doing it for you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for also continuing with the work that you do. Now, it's winter, like I said, you are not wearing shoes. We know that, weather can be brutal on a person's skin. So what are some of the self-care practices that you engage, or something that you do to make sure that, you are well taken care of?
I prioritize rest. I love resting. People like to tell me that I am busy. And I'm like, guys, why does everybody think that I am busy? Because I don't like being busy. Sometimes life gets busy. But I try and navigate my life in such a way that it is not busy. Because I do not like to be busy. I do not aspire to be busy. So yeah, I try and prioritize rest. I try and drink a lot of water. People sometimes compliment me and tell me that I look young for my age, and they ask me what is my secret, and then I tell them that I drink lots of water and I mind my own business. That is,
That works.
yes. That is my self-care. I try to and do things that I love and enjoy doing. Nature is my happy place. So I try and spend as much time as I possibly can in nature. That's my self-care routine.
Yeah, no, we love those tips. I love you. I love how you speak about busyness, because we live in a world that wants to push us into being busy. And my next question was going to be, how do you balance it all out? I mean, because it's musician, it's entrepreneurship, it's working with Mama in the center, it's also pursuing what you pursue, activism, plus also building a brand that also can be time consuming. Because I was going to ask, how do you balance it all out?
But remember, like I said earlier, I try to make sure, so all of these things, whether I'm singing, when I'm singing about my activism, I'm singing my message, with making clothing, I'm telling, so all of these things, whether I'm at work, I'm working with women and children, so all of these things align. So it's not me having to do all of these different things that don't speak to each other. So now I basically need to divide myself in all of these sections. Everything that I do has one and the same, like serves one common purpose, So that is why it's easier for me to be able to navigate all of those things, yes.
But now prioritizing them and now deciding what goes, to like which part of you comes out now, like are we gonna hear a song now? Like how do you then decide it's time for music? It's time for this, it's time for that. Because I understand that all of this, they speak together, and that's also how you create balance.
Work is work. Work I go to Monday to Friday. But then also, I think sometimes, I also say, I feel like the universe is my like the universe does my marketing and my promoting, and I think I must add planning into there as well. So I'm a very go with the flow type of person. Like if something is there, okay, it's an opportunity for us to make music now, this opportunity came up, it's the opportunity to do that and to do that. So yeah, I try to just go with what is there in the moment. So the weekend somebody calls and says, we are making music, I'm a part of a band, so we talk, okay, now it is, we are making music, and then but yeah, these things.
Because it's purpose, right?
Yes.
Because it's supposed to happen.
Yes.
You just have to like submit to,
Yes.
to what is already silent.
Yes.
Now, with all this work, there are setbacks. You know, there are obstacles, there are challenges. How do you overcome challenges and obstacles?
I think I'm reaching a place where I don't fight challenges. I don't fight challenges. I like challenges to a certain extent because I realize life is brutal. I realize that life is brutal sometimes and life is unapologetic. Like life doesn't ask you permission to come at you. Like if life is gonna come at you, life is gonna come at you. And so that is how I try to live as well. Like if life is going to come at me, then okay, let's do this.
Let's cooperate.
Let's do this. I'm going to come as well. So I take, and I'm easy on myself. If I need to cry, I'm the biggest crybaby in the world. Like if I need to cry, I cry. If I need to take some time away, there's times that I've had to take a break even from the Barefoot campaign because I've got things that's happening within my personal life that needs me to just focus on this now because I've got a lot that's going on. And I do that if I need to step away and focus on myself because I know also that I need to be a source of inspiration and a source of hope. I need to bring positive vibes. So if I'm not feeling that, then what am I doing? So when I feel in times that I need to take a step away and just deal and heal, that is what I do. That is how I try to deal with challenges. But like I said, I don't try and run away from them. Like life is gonna happen, and then I also try to not make, because human beings also like to make life difficult for ourselves. Like there's a lot of things that we do that makes our existence more difficult than it needs to be. So I try to the best of my ability to see, Tremaine, where can you maybe avoid unnecessary drama or unnecessary, that's things that's going to make my existence a little bit more difficult. Yeah.
I like what you say because, often people ask who heals the healer, who entertains the entertainer.
Yes.
And also, if you're going to be giving and giving and giving, how do you refill yourself?
Yes.
To make sure that you still have something to give tomorrow? Because once we get this work that is in public, there's so much pressure to keep going,
Yes.
next project, next this, especially as a creative.
Yeah.
So talk to us about your music. Tell us about your music, your passion.
My music, I'm so happy. Like I said, when I started my journey as an activism, it wasn't to become I wanted to do music, finally. And life was like, no, I first need you to do activism now. So, I did my activism. And life has sort of now come to the point where it's full circle, and I'm at a point now where I can do my activism through my music. So last year I released my debut album. It's called Becoming.
Yeah.
And it really speaks a lot on like my journey of becoming basically who I need to be. I also released another debut album because then I ended up in a band. It's called The Quiet Society. It was two of the most amazing musicians that I know. I don't know how it happened. But yeah, so I ended up in a band with The Quiet Society. We released an album as well. But like I say, because my music, because I'm the type of person, I can stand in front of an audience and speak to people. It's not something that I necessarily enjoy doing, I don't enjoy standing there and preaching and I don't motivating, I don't enjoy that process. It makes me feel, what I do enjoy is singing and making music. And so now I find that everything that I want to say, I say that in my music. And so while I'm saying whatever it is that I need to say, I can just do it in a way that I enjoy doing it. So now I sing it. So yeah, that is my music. My music, I like to say, is my message. Like if you want to know me, if you want to know what my thoughts or opinions or whatever it is, listen to my music.
Do you want to categorize it like into a genre?
I can't because I do different genres of music.
Okay.
I try not to limit myself when it comes to music. Like I say, I like a challenge. So if I get something and I connect with it, whether I do alternative music, my album is a lot of alternative. The Quiet Society as well. I've done some house music. I've got a EP that's some love R&B. Hinyana coming out soon. Yeah.
We want to hear some of that.
Yes, please.
I think you need to clear your throat so that we get to that. That is Tremaine, and that's how we come to the end of our conversation. Very inspirational, and she's going to end this interview on a note or two.
Oh, what is the note?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to share. Can I share one of my? I like to share one of my poems.
Okay.
Because I'm a poet as well.
Multi-talented.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, it's actually a song, but I don't have anything to play it here now. So I'm just gonna like sing and I don't know what. But okay, it goes. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, hoe lekker sal dit wees. Jou werk is my werk en ons werk is God se werk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, hoe lekker sal dit wees. Can't you see we got to go together forever? Forever, can't you see we got to go forever together, together. Die wêreld is woes, baie is bedroef. Mense vra vir iemand om ons te kom red terwyl ons alles wat nodig is binne in ons het. Min antwoorde, baie vrae. Ai, wanneer word die moeilikheid dan klaar? Die lewe voel swaar. Waar's die God wie ons moet bewaar? Die een wie nie slymer of slaap, die duiwel is losgelaat, maar as ons meer doen en minder praat, kan dinge soveel meer beter raak. Vat my hand, kom ons loop die pad saam, Kaalvoet deur die sand na ons hemelsland, waar almal lekker saam bly en niemand meer beklei, waar almal vry is en ons harte bly gerus, waar die son helder skyn en ons vergeet van die pyn, waar almal gelyk is en ons in vrede lewe vir ons ewig rus, waar ons kyk na mekaar en niemand kry meer swaar. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, hoe lekker sal dit wees. Jou werk is my werk en ons werk is God se werk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, kan saamwerk. As ons almal net kan saamwerk, hoe lekker sal dit wees.
En dit is baie lekker hier op Our Voice. Van
Yeah.
haar werk en ons en Our Voice werk, saam met jou werk, is die Here se werk.
Amen.
What a lekker interview. Thank you so much, Tremaine. I had a good time.
Thanks, Our
speaking
Voice,
to
for
you.
having me.
Watch out for her story and all the handles that you need, to have to follow her right on the description box below. Thank you.